Hi there, and welcome to Mind Your Own Business TV. I'm Debbie Davis, and if it's your business, we're talking about it right here every week. Tomorrow is going to be Thanksgiving Day, and we will be with family. We'll be being thankful, expressing ourselves, expressing our gratitude to each other, to the things that we have, the relationships that we build. And I have a couple of guys with me here today that know all about how to be thankful. And they are Will Guerette and Ryan Guerette. Welcome, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
They're a father and son team. They are owners of a small business that we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But you guys have a very interesting story that I would love for you to share with the audience.
Okay.
You woke up one morning to an alarm. Tell us about it, Will.
Yeah, I went to bed like any other night, and my security alarm went off, and I woke up and thought maybe the kids had gotten up and gone out and forgot the alarm was set, and so I got up and just headed out of the hall to see what was going on, and thought maybe Ryan or his sister had tripped the alarm by mistake, and I saw some shadow figures in the hall just passing, and went out and said, "Hey, who's out there? What's going on?" And I got hit in the head with I found out later on it was a machete, but it was, I thought it was a baseball bat at the time because it was that hard.
Wow.
And
So
do you want me to get into the detail
well,
or not?
so there was more than one?
Well, I saw shadows, and
Okay.
again, this is it's 1:30, 2 a.m., dark of the night. And
Right.
He wasn't wearing his glasses.
I didn't have
either,
my glasses on either, so
Kind of blind without him.
Yeah, aren't we all?
yeah, so I couldn't see that well. But yeah, there was one figure that I could clearly see in front of me that was very tall.
So let's jump to when you learned what exactly happened.
Yep.
Tell us.
What had happened is two guys had broken in the night and hit me with a machete and took the side of my head off, and I basically had been all but killed. There's a lot to the story of how they attacked me, and attacked my family, and they broke in and left me for dead in the hall. And while I was there, left my daughter. Well, my daughter Nicole woke up to them killing me in the hall, and screaming. I was screaming, I guess, because I had I don't know, more than a dozen hits with a machete, which is not a good thing. It's not good for you.
No.
But I saw her come out of her bedroom, and I told her, "Go back in your bedroom." And one of the guys, I don't know which one, but one of them went up over the stairs after her and attacked her. I don't know the story of why he would think that was the right thing to do, except not leave any witnesses.
Yeah.
Because he thought I was dead, and attacked her and left her for dead. And my other family members, my wife jumped out of a, second story bathroom window and ran to the neighbors, escaped, barely got out in time when they knocked in the bedroom. They crashed in the bedroom door. Ryan's bedroom was in the basement, and actually his bedroom wasn't, but he was sleeping in the basement, and he got out the basement door and escaped and hid out back. And his sister Ashley went under her bed and hid under her bed and dialed 911.
Wow.
And I woke up 6 weeks, 5-6 weeks later, about 4th of July. This was May 28th of 2008, actually. And I woke up the day before July 4th, and 5-6 weeks later, and they'd put me in a coma, and I lost several weeks of my life, but I found out that I began to find out what had happened.
Wow.
And it was I was alive. So
that's something that every family thinks about, intruders, and wonders, wow, what would we do? how would we cope? Now that you have all been through this, and you've got some time behind you, how did it affect your family as a whole? I mean, a lot of tragic situations can break up families.
Oh, it had incredibly difficult consequences. I mean, my biggest thing was dealing with feeling guilty that I didn't stop them and that they, got my daughter. Just guilt of knowing that I couldn't stop them and they had attacked and almost killed my daughter, and what that did to, and I wasn't able to stop them because I actually had a gun and I didn't use it, and I didn't use it properly anyway because I didn't know how to. I just bought it recently to prepare for this kind of thing and had never even practiced using it because I never expected it to happen almost immediately again,
Yeah.
You had someone break in before, a few
Yes.
months prior, right?
Yeah, the person that had done this was behind this, had broken in 6 months prior and robbed my home of a safe that had a rare coin collection and
Oh, boy.
currency, and it was worth a couple $100,000.
Wow.
6
You-
months
you
prior,
had
and he was
asked-
going to go to trial.
You had asked about how it affects you. You can see the physical damage. My dad's missing his finger. His head was messed up for a while. My sister has scars. But you have to. There's often things you can't see when stuff like this happens. It's emotional damages, and that can often tear people apart.
Sure.
But I feel like that our family has gotten through this very well, and we're a lot stronger because of it.
Well, that's
Most
good.
definitely.
That's good.
Yes.
Something to be thankful for.
Yes.
Yes.
We're all thankful to be here, and still
Absolutely.
have all of us here, and we
That's
we
actually
cherish that.
Yeah, exactly. At Thanksgiving time, that's something to truly actually be thankful for because it's a miracle. My daughter was a month away from 11, and she was called in deceased because they couldn't find a pulse. They thought she had died, and so for me, it's a miracle every day that I'm here and that she got well and we're all a family, and
Yep. And the bad guys got their just desserts.
Yeah, the bad guys got what they deserve, and the ones that had the hardest time dealing with it in some ways are Ryan and his mom that survived it, and Ryan.
He says that, but I like to say it's a lot more about my sister. Most definitely is the one that I like to focus on, just because of she was so young, and it's horrible that she had to go through that. My dad as well, because of the physical damage. There's emotional issues, but I definitely say that my dad and my sister are the ones that everybody should worry about how they feel.
Well, it does change your life. It does change the family dynamic, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
But if you're able to stay strong and stay together, that's the most important thing.
Very true.
And let's go on to Will. You have a very interesting past. You're like a serial entrepreneur. Like, you're not happy unless you're starting a business.
Yeah, that's kind of true. Yeah.
Tell me how you get started.
I just I was going to college and I was majoring in accounting, and after my junior year I figured out that I was in the wrong major.
A lot of people do.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
And I realized that accounting I was going to be terrible at it. I would be able to do it, but it wasn't cut out for me.
Not exciting enough.
It was not what I needed to be doing. And so I basically decided I've either got to change my major to business management or something. And at the time I was running a small business that to support myself through school. And I realized what I loved doing was going to my business and working at my little business. And basically at the time I started thinking, well, what would I do to support a family and make a future? Right. And video was very hot at that time.
Oh, way back in the video days.
Way back in the video days.
The internet.
Before Redbox, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I basically looked around, and there was a little chain of video stores where I was in college that I went and talked to them, and they were actually franchising, and they had like 70 stores. And I basically talked to my dad and called home and said, Dad, I don't want to be an accountant.
I couldn't imagine him sitting at a desk. No way.
And I said, Dad, I want to drop out of school and start a business.
Oh, and he was very happy to hear those
He was
words.
thrilled with that concept. But my dad actually stood by me and supported me, and actually, believe it or not, mortgaged his home, my family home. I had 5 little siblings at home still. I was the oldest. And mortgaged his home to start a business together. And we started our first video store in 1982.
Wow.
82, yeah. And
So those were the days when you went and you purchased the machine. You rented the machine.
yes, you rented both the
And
machine
the video,
and the
you
VHS tapes.
carry them on home, and you get to watch it, and then you got to bring it back the next day.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, those were the days, yeah.
Yes, they were the days. And so I started Sounds Easy Video in Maine, and I eventually built it from one store. We had one store, then we built it to eventually 16 in central Maine area, central coastal Maine, and then we had a rival at the time, had 21 stores that was Home Vision Video. And any of you that from Biddeford Sockaware would remember them very well. They were the leader down here. And we decided Blockbuster was growing nationally to be a big chain. And they threatened they were going to come in and put us out of business. They tried to buy us out. And we decided, being the Mainers we were, that we weren't going to let that happen, so we decided to merge to take on Blockbuster.
Oh, wow.
So I merged with my biggest rival, and we made a chain that had at the time 35 stores, and then eventually we built it to 54, and then we eventually were hoping to go public on our own and didn't succeed at that, but Movie Gallery was a public video store company, and they were looking to expand and grow, and they came to us and offered to buy us, and so we sold our chain of 54 stores to Movie Gallery.
Wow.
And that was
You did that before video died.
yes, we did. Sold out in '96.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Woo.
And so
Just made it.
yeah. So that was my first experience building something from small to bigger. But kind of during, you want me to tell you the other business?
Please, yes.
So the next business was during that time, while in college, I fell in love with a sandwich shop across the street from the business I ran. It was called Subway at the time.
Gee, I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, you've heard of that. They only had like 300 to 500 stores at that time. But I loved their sandwiches. So even when I owned the video stores, I always thought of Subway. And I always thought, that's a great business. I should look into that again. Well, again, I had another friend come to me that was looking for something to do. And I said, well, I know this business that I really believe in and I love, and they've been growing. I know they've been growing outside of Maine, and they weren't in Maine at the time. They had like 3,000 stores from the 300 to 500 that I knew when I was in college. Wow. And this is '88. So we contacted them, and we became the pioneer Subway franchisee in the state of Maine. We opened the first Subway in the state of Maine in 1988 in Augusta.
Amazing.
And now there's like 60-something in Maine or 70-something in Maine, but I still own, with my partner, 4 stores.
You do.
In Augusta. And it was 1 originally, but we have 4 in the city of Augusta now. All the stores in Augusta are ours. And so that was my second experience.
Yeah.
And so
Then you've got another one that I know about.
He never takes a break.
yeah, so after selling the video stores, I actually went to work for Movie Gallery for a while, but when I got done working for them in 2000, I started looking around for what else would I want to do with my life, because I wasn't that old yet,
Bored.
Didn't have enough to do yet.
I was old enough to be retired. That's lazy, I had to do something. So I looked around, and while I was at Movie Gallery, they had 50 of their 1,000 video stores had tanning in them.
Really?
And so I was head of sales and marketing. I was senior vice president of sales and marketing for Movie Gallery, and I learned about the tanning business and learned the kind of business it was, and I thought that's a good business. So I always liked it in the back of my mind, and I ended up through connections with the video business. I ended up finding that I had a previous employee friend of mine who had got hooked up with this chain of, at the time, I think 18 to 20 tanning salons in Kentucky and Tennessee. and they weren't franchising or anything, but they were very successful, and they had a terrific model. Just it was way ahead of anything else I'd ever seen before. So I talked to my friend about it. I said, I love tanning. I'd love to do that. You think they'd want to, franchise or something? And he said, well, no, they're not planning on doing that, but I'm going to run it for them. And he was moving to be their chief operating officer. And I said, well, let me meet him. So I'd already kind of met him peripherally before. So we had a meeting, and they agreed to let us be their first franchisee.
Nice.
And we launched the first franchise of Suntan City. And they had, by this point, got up to 40 corporate stores. And from the 18 to 20, they were growing rapidly and very successful. And they had a tremendous back end, the system, the computer system. I mean, if you would go anywhere in the country to a Suntan City to tan, you could tan in any other on your club.
Oh.
So it was available to you anywhere.
Yep.
And all the information about you was available anywhere you went, so you could tan anywhere. And it was a tremendous model and tremendous back end built support for the stores. So we opened the first one in Augusta, the first franchise, and they have over 300 stores now. And we have, I think, 19 right now in Maine and New Hampshire, me and my brothers.
Yeah.
And so my brother was looking to get out of corporate America, and one of my brothers, and he and the other one and I kind of financially got with him, and he's the operating partner, and he opened the first one in Augusta, and we've got, like I said, 19 now, and we're looking to open the 20th.
Was that your first, that wasn't your first franchise model, right?
No, Subway.
Subway was.
And actually, the original video store was a franchise too. So the franchise that franchise failed. But Sounds Easy, the first video store, was actually a franchise.
Yeah, but I venture to say that they probably wouldn't have failed if the industry hadn't fallen.
Yeah,
or
yes.
progressed.
Yes, right. But Blockbuster and others did well as franchises. But that was my first exposure to it.
Right.
But my exposure to a successful one was Subway.
Well, let me ask you, what is it about a franchise that you're attracted to?
Well, I think that a franchise helps a small business person like me, an entrepreneur that would like to do something that has, good hard work ethic and instincts, helps them, give them a system and a support that helps them be more successful. So for me, it was, I could have opened Willie's Video Store or Will's Sandwich Shop, Will's Sandwiches, or
Will's Video.
yeah, Will's Tanning, whatever.
Right, right.
It wouldn't have been special. And would I have had the support to know all the right decisions to make and the organizational things and contacts to make it as successful as it could be?
So that's
so
the
for me,
difference.
wanting to be an entrepreneur, I saw the support as a huge benefit for me.
Well, you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
And
Exactly.
you're almost guaranteed success if you've got people
If you
to
follow
help
it
you.
the right way and do things the way that they set it up for you to succeed, there's no way you can fail, really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, you look at there are a few Subways that fail, but the reality is they get sold to someone else who runs them right.
Right.
I mean, Subways are McDonald's. So you just name any business out there.
Well, the name, you're buying the name, you're buying a system
Exactly.
that really, yeah, it's not your own.
No.
It's not your own, obviously.
I mean, the business is your own.
Well, the business is your own, but I mean the idea
Yeah,
is not your own.
exactly.
There are many people who say, I have this great idea. I'm going to sell it and I'm going to make millions,
Yeah.
And
Try
they can
it.
sell it, but they don't know how to run the business, so it fails ultimately.
Very
You know
true.
what I mean?
That's exactly the difference. That's why that's what attracted me to franchising, because it took a person like me, the person who has the desire and the willingness to work and to build something and mold you with the tools you need to succeed. That's what I think is special about it, in my life anyway.
So you're a watcher of CNBC.
Yes, I am.
And what's your favorite show on CNBC?
Well, my favorite show is the morning show, Squawk Box.
Okay.
But I watch every morning from basically 6 a.m. up until noon. And that kind of leads me into how I found out about my newest business.
Yes.
I watch Squawk Box, and then as I watch getting into noon, they have a show that they put on called Power Pitch, and it basically brings on entrepreneurs with new business models that they're trying to develop throughout the country, and they have like 10 minutes to pitch their business that they're launching, and the hosts of the show vote thumbs up or thumbs down.
Right.
Do they like it or don't they like it? And that's where I saw Wow One Day Painting.
Okay.
And the founder of it came on and explained his background. And his background was that he's the founder of 1-800-GOT-JUNK, which was he founded
Which we have all heard of.
Yeah, which is not in Maine. Maine's one of the only states it's not
No,
in.
we don't have it, but I have seen it on TV.
Yeah.
So.
There's actually a franchise partner in New Hampshire who does come up to the Portland area if needs be.
Right.
They don't
Okay.
have Maine. Yep.
Okay.
But basically, he was the founder of that like 20 years ago, and he has a huge. It's actually worldwide. They're in I think 3 countries even.
Wow.
And they basically will clean out your yard, your basement, your garage, whatever. They'll get rid of your junk.
Them.
Yeah, I could use them too. I wish
Everybody could around here, you know.
Don't tell my husband that.
really. But so basically, he pitched his concept, and his concept was that there's painters everywhere, and everybody has painting jobs, interior, exterior, that they need done. But most painting jobs are done kind of at the whim of the contractor. In other words, the guy shows up, he starts, fits in his schedule as best he can. He might get it
Throw
done.
on the eggshell.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
The ugly contractor's white.
We'll get there eventually. You know, he'll show up when he wants to, leave early. You know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And you end up, it ends up keeping your house in an uproar to get painted for a while. And his concept was, we're going to change the paradigm of painting. We're going to build it to the customer's needs. And it was just, it impressed me. The whole thing impressed me. And he impressed me for his already having succeeded at building a franchise. And I said, well, this is neat. And so at the time, I basically, do you want me to tell you? So
You said to
I told
him.
my son Ryan. My son Ryan was being like a contractor, working for his brother and his uncle. His brother and uncle owned between them 300 apartment units and some commercial also property, and they always need renovations. And Ryan was working for them. He was the number one guy, the only guy for his brother. He was managing his brother's 30 apartments, plus he was working for his uncle, fixing apartments, and so he was already doing this work every day.
Right.
And he was a contractor working for himself. And I said, Rye, I saw this concept that I love. I thought it was neat. I basically showed him and said, you ought to check into it. I said, I can't do this. I have physical limitations now that, mental limitations also. I sleep too much because of the brain injury.
Right.
But I said, I can't do it, but I love it. And if it's something you're interested in, let me know. The one thing I could do is I could be the financial partner to, if you wanted to get into business with me, I could come up with enough money to help you start it. And
What a good dad.
He is. I'm very lucky. I always like to say some people are born with a little bit of a silver spoon, which I was. So you got to be able to pick it up, run with it, and make it platinum.
Oh, I
good
like
line.
that.
I like
That's
that.
good.
Yeah.
So when your dad was telling you about this, what were you thinking? Like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, no,
Dad.
when he first approached me with it, I thought, Dad, you're kind of crazy. You want to start another business? What the heck? Slow down, would you? And I wasn't necessarily at the spot where I knew if I wanted to put 100% of my time and my effort, and it takes a whole lot to start up a business and run it and be the face of it. It takes a lot of work. Even when you're not working, you're working. So it was something
true.
I took a couple of months and just kept working, kept doing what I was doing. And I eventually went online and went to their website and checked them out, and did the Googling of the company and figured out what people had to say about them and that type of stuff, and got in contact with them, and we went from there.
What drew you in?
What drew me in the most to the company was how revolutionary it is at the very beginning, because I'd been doing painting and fixing up apartments and stuff like that for a while. So I knew the tedious process of painting, and I knew what people had expected painting to be. and how completely different this was. And I thought, man, that's such a good idea. People are going to love it because it's all about the customer experience as opposed to anything else.
That's what I'm finding the theme nowadays
Yep.
in business. What does the customer want? It's
Exactly.
not I'll get around to it, lady, because I'm the one in town.
Yes,
and,
I'm the best.
You know, I'm
Yeah.
the only one you want. You know,
Yes.
that type of thing. It is more about let's give the customer what they want when they need it,
That's exactly true.
and that's
That's exactly what they push the most,
Mm-hmm.
is make the customer happy and all else will fall in place.
And the younger generations want this too. They want, they want a reason to work somewhere.
Yes.
They want a reason to do this type of business, whatever it may be. And let's share your age, if we may.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm 25 years old.
25 years old,
Yes.
and you're now the owner and general manager of your own company.
I am. It's very exciting. I love it.
Love it. Totally
Well,
love it.
the kicker here is that ask my dad how old he was when he started his first business.
Yeah, weren't you young as well?
Yeah, I was 24 and a half.
Runs in the family.
So the fruit doesn't fall from the tree. This is great. This is great.
Yes.
I
Well,
gotta,
why
I gotta
wait,
tell you,
right?
Can I interrupt? Just tell you
Sure.
one thing funniest about his reaction when I told him about the business. It took him a couple months, like he said, is I told him, the name and what they promote is that they'll paint it, they'll do a quality job in a day, and his reaction was, "You can't do that." They don't do
Because I've
that.
been doing it, I was like, what
It
the?
can't be done.
Yeah.
His
Come on
reaction
now.
was like, "A day." A day. Wow. A day.
That's
Didn't even
interesting.
believe me.
That's interesting.
And so it took him a while to research and figure out what.
It actually can be done.
They must be lying. They must be lying. I can see you now. They must be lying. I'm going to prove my father wrong. Well, in a franchise, like we've just touched on, they have support in the back end to help you get started, right?
Yes.
What kind of support did you encounter?
Yeah, that was after the initial process of seeing how revolutionary the business model really is. That's what really cemented me wanting to do it, was meeting the people and understanding the back end. I mean, we have a call center all the time that you can call 24 hours a day. They might not answer at night, but you can leave a message and they'll call you right back in the morning. And they also have a website that they build for you, as well as all the other franchise partners, and we're all like a big team. So we work together very well. I just came back from a planning meeting with all the franchise partners, and it was very cool to see how much they want you to succeed.
Now, you mentioned a planning meeting.
Yes.
Is that kind of like, can I liken that to like, I was in a few multi-level marketing companies in the past, and they would have periodic meetings where everybody would come from the country and get training and be able to chat about your business and
Yes.
learn tips and tricks and
That's
things like that.
exactly it. They
Is that
had
what
they
it
had
was?
several of the franchise partners give PowerPoint presentations on best and worst practices, stuff to help you get business, and so on and so forth.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's awesome.
They also do marketing for you?
Oh yeah, I mean they had a whole engine set up. Like when I got there, they have things that you aren't necessarily required to do, but you should really do them. Pay-per-click advertising on Google. We send out direct
Which
mail
every
pieces.
business should do.
Exactly. It's nowadays tech savvy is the. We call ourselves a high-tech painting company, and you have to be on the cutting edge of things in order to succeed today.
Right. I'm talking with Will Guerette and Ryan Guerette. They are owners of Wow One Day Painting, a high-tech painting business. Now, franchises have fees, do
Yeah,
they
of course,
not?
of course.
And you have to purchase the franchise
Yeah, there's a franchise
in the beginning?
Yeah, there's a franchise fee to buy the franchise, and then there is a monthly franchise fee as well.
A percent of
Yeah.
the business.
A
you do.
percentage of your profits goes to. Can you make a profit even though you have to have that?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yes, they aren't going to set you up with a fee that's going to make you lose money because they want you to succeed just as much as you do.
Okay. Well, if I had my own business, which I do, but I have no plan to franchise it, but if I did, I would want somebody to lead it just with as much passion as I do,
That's exactly it.
with as much interest and care, etc. So, what kind of a person do you think would fit well in purchasing a franchise as opposed to a business? Are they one and the same? Or does a franchise owner require a little special skill?
I think they're one and the same, but I think that the person that becomes a franchisee of, be it a McDonald's, be it an eyeglasses business, so you whatever you could think of, or Wow One Day Painting, you have to be willing to swallow your ego and understand that you don't recreate the wheel.
That's a good point.
And if you're going to have a McDonald's, you're going to have a McDonald's menu.
Yes.
You have to drink the Kool-Aid, and you have to buy into the system and follow the systems that they have, and you can't just think you're going to do it your own way, or else it's not going to work.
And you can't really make changes.
Right.
Yeah, if you're going to open a Supercuts to do hair cutting, you're going to have a Supercuts. So, but you get
Are there a lot of people who purchase franchises that think they're going to change the world and change how it's done?
Well, I think that's one of the problems that some people that start up businesses run into, is they think that they want to control the image, and that they struggle to conform to the system. So if you have that kind of personality, I think you should open your own business.
Right.
Because you will struggle in a franchise system, because you know that in the franchise system, they've got a system for a reason. They've built it. They have tons of employees working on improving it and making it work for you. But if you don't want it, well, then you shouldn't buy a franchise.
Right. Well, I can picture a few would probably say, oh, yeah, I'll go purchase like a McDonald's. But what they're doing in that area, it ain't going to work over here in this geographic region that I'm in.
Right.
I'm going to do something different. And usually that's where they get bit.
Geographically might be different, but the system has to be the same.
Right.
Yeah.
And the system works, which is why it's a franchise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've seen it work, and there's lots of places where it works amazingly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you decided to go for this business.
Yes.
How long have you been in business now?
We opened up our doors just over 2 months ago.
So you're just a baby.
Yes, we're still in startup mode. Yes,
So how is it going so far?
It's gone great, honestly. I mean, it's keeping me busier than, like my dad likes to say, busier than a one-armed paper hanger.
Yeah.
That's so old. Come on.
I'm using my dad's famous quotes here. No, it's going very, very well, and I've been very excited about it. And honestly, it's keeping me busier than I thought it would.
That's good.
Yes.
Keeps you out of trouble.
Yes.
So Dad's mentoring you.
Yeah, I always tell people my dad's probably my biggest asset. Definitely. He's been through it several times. He knows the ins and the outs. If I have a bad day, go talk to him about what went wrong. He'll talk me off the edge a little bit. You know what I mean? Or if it went really well, he'll build me up. So it's great.
That's fantastic. How do you view your son now, being a business owner?
Well, I'm just excited for him, because I just remember back when I've been there, when I've been the operating partner, and it brings back good memories for me, and it brings back the challenging days too.
Well, how does the dynamic of father-son work here? I mean, it must be good, because you're not in the business every day, right?
Right. No,
You're the mentor position.
Yeah.
my challenge is that I always have to every day remind myself that I don't run this business, and I can't get in the way and try to run this business. And I have to remind myself of that, because that's where the tension and the conflict could come in.
Right.
And so I tell everybody I meet, this is Ryan's business, he runs it, and I say to him, that's your decision to make, and he's going to find out as he makes it the wrong way that, and I've got to be able to let go of that and let him make mistakes.
That's hard to do as a parent.
Oh, it is. It's it'll.
You're going to know when your daughter grows up.
Oh, goodness. Don't make me think about that yet.
Yeah, it's a little too soon. She's only 4.
Yeah, she's 4 in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So you have contracting experience behind you,
Yes.
right?
Oh, yes.
So if I'm a potential customer of yours, and I'm a stupid homeowner and don't know that what I need is more than painting,
Of course.
what can I get from you?
Yeah, well, I'm actually a member of my local BNI group, so I have a nice
Explain what
contact
BNI
sphere.
is. They
Yeah,
probably
it's
don't
a
know.
business networking group
Right.
with other professionals in several different industries, whether banking or construction or whatever it is. So via that group, and also just from past references and contacts that I have, say I come into a home and I do a paint job, they're like, well, I was thinking about doing these floors. Well, hold on a second, let me go grab a business card for you real quick, and here's a flooring contractor.
Oh, that's handy.
Yes,
It's like totally handy.
yes.
How do you hire your workers? You know, you've got painters, obviously.
Yes, of course. So luckily through doing this before, I already knew people in the industry that were painters. So I got a few of them, and I got names from people. My local Sherwin-Williams store often hands me names of people that are looking for work.
Sure.
And I have people contacting me all the time because they know I own a business, and if they want to come out and try to work for me, I'll give them a little test to see what they're like painting-wise and see if it's worth it.
But you want people who are already experienced
Oh, of
painters,
course, yeah,
right?
yes. We're looking for quality.
What has been the thing that's most tricky to learn about you and your business?
The most tricky.
I mean, I know it's early. You've only been in for a couple of months, but there's got to be something that you
Yeah, of
found.
course.
Oh,
There's learning how different types of paint cover different surfaces and things like that, just so I can do the estimate correctly. Like yesterday, we were at a job and it took 4 coats of paint to cover one color on the wall. It's just because it was an ultra deep base paint that we put on, and it was a fire orange red color on the walls. So
Wow.
it's just learning stuff like that obviously through doing it enough that I'll understand.
that's true.
Yeah.
Doing is learning,
Yes,
that is
indeed.
for sure. So what is next for you, Will? You have a lot going on in your life. You don't like to be idle,
No,
obviously. But is there, sometimes we say, someday I think I might look into that area or that business. Or do you have anything like that?
Not right now, but
Okay.
It changes weekly, so.
actually I do have other things that I'm involved in that I haven't even mentioned. So, but I'm
sure
not
you
going
do.
to.
I have no doubt. No doubt.
But for me right now, it's enjoying where I'm at, what I'm doing, and loving it, and being thankful every day. Truthfully, I mean that's I feel blessed that Ryan and I get to start this. It's a second start for me.
Right.
This is the first business that has started for me since the attack. Since life got put on hold for a couple years and everything was crazy and up in the air and nothing was normal. And the other businesses all were before that, and they still continue successfully. But this is a new start of something new since, and it's exciting because I get to see something new be born, and it's off to a good or better start than I expected. So that's exciting. You haven't explained, Rye. I'm sitting here thinking about it.
Yes.
What sets WOW apart? What we actually do. This,
Yes,
we've
well,
said
let's
several
chat.
times this is
Let's say it's
different,
a-
and we
yeah.
haven't said what it is actually.
So why are you so special? Why is WOW One Day Painting special?
Yes, of course. So what we like to say is we make the ordinary job of painting exceptional. Okay, so we come into your home, and speed plus quality equals wow.
Speed plus quality equals wow.
Yes, so we come in and we've got a huge working force of guys. We come in, we'll move all your furniture for you. We do all that stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, tarp it all off, paint it in a day, and
Okay.
get out of your hair.
wow.
So it's complete.
Wow's the correct word.
Yes.
See?
Yesterday, after we finished up the job at these people's home, they must have said wow 1,000 times. Walking around the house, they're like, wow, I cannot believe that you did this. We did their
amazing.
living room, hallway, stairwell, entryway, 2 bedrooms in one day. No problem.
So you just bring in more people?
Yes, so basically it's very simple at its core. Joe the painter walks in, 40 hours worth of work. That's 8 hours a day for 5 days. You bring 5 guys for 8 hours, that's 40 hours. So it's very simple at its core. It doesn't work out perfectly.
Right.
You have to bring extra guys to expedite the process. But that's very simple if you break it down.
What I love about your particular business is that you have this call center that will schedule for you.
Oh, of course.
And that to me caught my eyes like, really? Wow.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts as well. So on my computer and my phone, I have a schedule set up in there, and the call center has the exact same schedule. So I can book off times if I have something going on that day, if we have a job that I have to be at, and somebody calls into the call center, they can see that time's booked off, and they'll just go to the next day and see that I have noon available that day, and they'll put it in my schedule. I get an email that says you have an estimate tomorrow at noon. So we both have the same schedule that we look at, and I get it, they get it, and it just makes it work awesome.
That's like having a personal assistant.
It really is. It really is.
I love that.
They schedule my work for me.
And that's why you purchase franchise, because they have these models, these systems already in place to make it easy for you to succeed.
Yep. Exactly. And that's
So
that's the
we
very
aren't-
best part for me.
We aren't going to be failing here, right?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. All right, so what is going to be next for you? Are you planning, obviously you want to build this business.
Yes. Within the next couple of years, that's my main focus is expanding this business. We have the rights to the whole state of Maine. So I want to take over Maine one painting job at a time. That's my first.
You are so full of these lines. I love it. I love
That's my
it.
first next goal. But I don't want to. Guess growing up with this guy, I don't like to be idle. So
Yeah.
this isn't going to be a means to an end for me. I don't want this to be the only thing I do. That's for sure. Moving on to the future, I'm sure there'll be more opportunities and more things that I run into that I want to invest my time and money in and build as well.
And that brings me to a statement you made to me yesterday. A successful man provides for his children's children.
Yes, that was one takeaway I had from the planning meeting we just came back from. One guy said that, and it really stuck with me. It's a successful man provides for his children's children.
This is fantastic.
That's what I want to do.
Well, guys, I love it. So I understand more about why a franchise purchase would be valuable.
Yes.
You can get to success faster, easier, and with help.
Yes, absolutely.
Better than just going it on your own. But if you are the type to go on your own, then you should open up your own business.
Exactly. If you want to be more in control of the brand and things like that.
Right.
Yes.
There you go. Well, thanks for joining me today, guys.
Not a problem. We appreciate you having us out here.
I'm very,
you.
very glad that you are here.
Yes, me too.
I am too, and I'm very thankful to be here at this time of year. I guess thankfulness is the key word, and
Yes, it is.
I am truly thankful to have the opportunity.
Wonderful. Well, happy Thanksgiving to you both.
Happy Thanksgiving to you as well.
And
Thank
please
you.
remember to mind your own business.
As long as you keep our business in mind.
Woo, look at that.
And painting, if you need painting, that's our business.
There you go.
We'll mind it.
Thank you so much for listening to us today, and happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. Tune in next week so I can tell you to mind your own business.